What I'm going to share in this video can elevate you to a higher level as a man. But what does it mean to be someone outstanding? This applies to both men and women. An outstanding person is one who stands out from the average. When we talk about mediocrity, some people might consider this term derogatory, but mediocrity simply means being average. If you're average, you're in a mediocre position. On the other hand, when you stand out, it means you've somehow moved away from that middle position. Does that make sense to you? Now, I'm going to share 3 things that made a big difference for me and, in my perspective, can significantly increase your results in any area of your life, making you someone outstanding. These 3 lessons I'm going to share can profoundly transform your life, and I'm not exaggerating. But to truly understand the depth of these 3 tips, I need to share a story related to the recent event I attended. About a week ago, I was at a personal development event that covered various areas of life such as health, career, finances, and relationships, including a spiritual component. During this event, at a certain point, a nutritionist was invited to speak to the audience of about 2,000 people. She was one of the most renowned in the field of nutrition and came to talk about health, nutrition, and achieving the dream physique. She began by saying she would share 5 essential aspects for a healthy life. Before revealing these 5 points, she asked the audience, including myself, if anyone had any idea what these 5 aspects could be. So, everyone started guessing almost miraculously that these 5 essential aspects for a healthy life would basically be drinking water properly, having a nutritious diet, sleeping well for 8 hours a day, exercising at least 3 times a week, and there was one last thing I can't remember now. Basically, everyone in the audience could answer that. It was just a matter of people thinking a little, and the answers came out naturally. So, she looked at the audience and said, "Well, can I leave now? Everyone here must be healthy and full of energy, with no blood pressure or obesity problems." However, obviously, that wasn't the reality. Most people there weren't achieving the health and physical results they desired. So, what was happening? Why were these people average, even though they knew what to do to stand out and be remarkable? I would say that most people there, including myself in some aspects, were mentally polluted. Pay attention to this. Nowadays, we live in the information age, where all kinds of information are available at all times, just a click away. You can open your phone and search for whatever you want, and information is always available in abundance. But what some people have in their minds is a constant feeling of, "I'm missing out," a concern that they need to always learn more, that there's always something new to be learned. But, in reality, the basics of what you need to do, exercise, eat well, drink water, sleep well, are often overlooked. For example, if you're overweight and really want to achieve a certain level of health or physique, but aren't executing these basic habits, how can you expect to achieve your goals? And then you can find yourself constantly seeking new information. Whether it's a different diet, a new approach to exercising, or even in other areas of your life, like becoming more confident with women in your relationships, developing calm communication skills, or pursuing a meaningful relationship with a high-value woman. The basics to achieve these goals, you probably already know. You've watched many videos, done research, but still, there's this feeling that you need to learn more. There's this persistent feeling of never being fully prepared. I receive many messages from people saying, "I've watched many of your videos, I know what to do, but I simply don't have the courage." And so it goes on, seeking more and more information, in all areas of life. Sometimes, you set a specific goal at work, in your career, or in a career transition. And then you find yourself immersed in research, watching videos, taking courses, and reading books. It seems that, to achieve what you want, there's always another 400 books to read, more courses to take, and you end up in a state of mental overload. I once heard a phrase that made a lot of sense to me: victory isn't in reading 10, 15, or 50 books a year. Victory isn't in watching every video on a certain subject. Real victory is in reading the same book 10 times and practicing all the lessons in it. That's much more valuable than just watching a video and grasping its essence. The essence of what I'm sharing here is transformative when you capture it and practice it. It's crucial to understand that you need to focus on practicing the essential before overwhelming yourself with the rest. The central point isn't necessarily reading the same book 10 times, but rather practicing. If you don't practice, you don't know. Just reading, watching, and learning isn't enough. You only understand when you practice. So I ask you, how many pieces of information have you accessed in life and actually put into practice? The tip to stand out as a man is to focus on executing what's important that you already know and stop becoming a mental glutton. Focus means choosing one or two things and ignoring the rest. The true skill of having focus is deciding what you're going to let go of. It's not just about choosing something specific to focus on but also about deciding what you're going to ignore. For example, imagine you have the opportunity to study at Harvard for 2 years. It sounds amazing, right? You'd spend 2 years abroad, learning another language, and studying a subject you may not even know if you like. But that's part of your focus, it's part of your life goals. This experience helps you gain clarity about what you really want and where you want to focus your energy. So, focus is about choosing from various opportunities and knowing how to say no to many of them, so you can deeply focus on one or two. Tip number 1 is to refocus on executing what's important. Execute the basics and stop overwhelming yourself searching for a series of information without having executed the basics yet. The second tip is about being consistent. Once you have clarity about what you want and have the basic notions of how to do it, be consistent in executing the basics continuously. If you want to lose weight, you need to follow a specific diet and perform constant and specific workouts during the week. Then, commit to executing these workouts consistently, for example, 4 times a week, for an extended period. That's consistency. And it's important to highlight that consistency doesn't need to start with a grand commitment of time or something grandiose. It can be something simple, like meditating for 5 minutes every day if your goal is to become calmer. That's also consistency, and it works wonders for your development. Imagine dedicating just 10 minutes a day to learn 3 new words in a new language. At the end of a year, you would have learned over 900 new words. That's incredible progress. So, don't underestimate the power of consistency, as it can take you to extraordinary places, truly outstanding places. And the last tip to stand out, which was one of the most valuable lessons of my life, is, when you're faced with a problem or desire that you don't know how to solve, stop racking your brain trying to find the solution. A simple example is when you want to prosper financially, maybe even become rich. Instead of trying to solve this on your own, which can be presumptuous, acknowledge that you don't have all the answers. Seek out those who have already achieved the result you desire or who have expertise in helping others achieve that result. Have the humility to learn from these people, be curious, and go after them. If you want, for example, to lose 20 kilos, try to understand what people who have already done that or who help others do it have to say. Maybe there's a different approach or a specific phrase that can transform your results. If you don't know how to achieve something, there's certainly someone who does. So, seek out that person. Now, tell me if these tips made sense to you, if they contributed to your personal development, and if you liked the video. If yes, leave your like and subscribe. Strong hug and bye.